This is another public service announcement brought to you in part by...
We plopped down in Tangerang, Indonesia, this industrial suburb outside of the capital of Jakarta, with the plans that for the next month we were going to live as Nike's factory workers lived, which meant that we were going to go live in a workers' slum outside of the capital. And we were going to live on the workers' wages, $1.25 a day for the next month, to try and come maybe to a better understanding of what it's like for Nike factory workers to make this kind of money and live under these conditions. We lived in a 9x9 cement box. It was over 100 degrees, it's 100% humidity, a small window, certainly no air conditioning.
No furniture. You slept on a very thin mat on an uneven cement floor covered in shelf paper.
The streets outside of your home are lined by open sewers, and what that means, like in the rainy season, you would have all that feces just float up into the streets and into your house.
And every time that you go to the bathroom, it comes back out into the sewer for everybody else to see and smell.
You would have football-sized rats that would stampede over the ceiling at night and come up through the toilet and look for stuff to eat in the house, or the fist-sized cockroaches that would crawl over you at night.
Siapa nama Anda?
Saya.
Daya. Nama Jim.
Nama Jim ya.
Yeah.
Just like anyone around the world, you can't just drop into someone's life and be like, hi, we're here, we want to live in your life and tell us how much it sucks. You had to build bonds of trust.
Jim? Siri? Yenny? Nice to meet you. Hello.
They treated us very politely, and it wasn't until they saw that we were committed in the capacity of living on the wages that they're forced to live on, in the conditions that they are living in, that they felt that they could start to begin to trust us. You get to know them, and you hold their children, and you eat with them, and you share stories with them. They become part of your family.
We would go to different workers' homes. You got like 4 women sleeping in an 8x8 cement box, and all their possessions are in there, like everything, in this small area.
The workers would have to share a bathroom with 5 to 10 other families. The workers would have to share living quarters, actually like a row of shacks with corrugated tin roofs. All those families would share a laundry corner and a kitchen facility, and they would all share the same well to take the water out of.
$1.25 a day after you've paid for your rent, water, electricity, any major transportation costs, you're going to be left on average with roughly 7,000 rupiah per day. What the hell does that mean? That's going to buy you 2 simple meals of rice and vegetables, a bag of peanuts, a bottle of iced tea, and some dish detergent.
When you were over in American Samoa, what surprised you the most?
I guess what hit me the most is the condition of the factory that the workers were in. The factory was surrounded by fence and barbed wire on top and on the bottom, and they have a chain link fence around the whole factory and dormitory compound. The gate has a guard shack where the guard sit and control the worker movement in and out of the factory. The factory are made of tin panels with tin roof. It's really hot. The temperature over there is regularly 90 degrees, and inside the factory or the dormitory, it reaches way over 100 degrees.
Yeah, it's a contemporary form of slavery, they call it slave labor. But they don't prosecute them cause it's how they make paper. When you rockin' that fly shit that's made in China, by an 8-year-old child trying to feed his mama, he exposed to contamination and disease. And only 55% of them will get degrees. And the women have to try to placate the boss, because of sex discrimination in the labor force. The slave master only let them speak in sign language, and they suffering from lung disease and eye damage. 14-hour shifts, 7 days a week, 2 shitty meals a day, very little sleep. Human life only worth 3 cents an hour. All human rights lost, no sense of power. What did 400 years in the grave passes. Only the improved cleverness of slave masters. It's life worth living if you living in hell. When the
Foxconn factory complex in Shenzhen, China, you cannot miss the nets. And it is hard to get them out of your mind when you leave. They are there to keep the people who build products for Apple or Dell or Nintendo from taking a deadly leap off a factory roof. And a Foxconn executive admits that without those nets and the suicide cluster that produced them, we wouldn't be looking inside the iFactory tonight. The suicide nets went up in the spring of 2010 when 9 Foxconn workers jumped to their desks in the span of 3 months. A total of 18 employees took their own lives or tried to in recent years.
It's 1.6 million people locked in jail. They the new slave labor force trapped in hell. Damn. They generate over $1 billion worth of power and only getting paid 20 cents an hour. They make clothes for McDonald's and for Applebee's and working 40-hour shifts in prison factories. And while we sit around debating who to whack 'em sees, they have to work when arthritic pain attack the knees. Slavery's not illegal, that's a fucking lie. It's illegal unless it's for conviction of a crime. The main objective is to get you in your fucking prime and keep the prison full and not give you a fucking dime. But they the real criminal, keeping you confined for a petty crime, but they give you 2 to 9. And ain't nobody there to protect you except a bunch of incompetent human rights inspectors. Is life worth living if you living in hell? When the mind is confined to a prisoner cell, ain't a